After a long and arduous year, I'd like to welcome you to Zionism Victoria's Illuminate October event. It's often said that between two Jews there are three opinions. Notwithstanding that, my remarks today are an attempt to try and capture the broad sentiment of our community. As the Indigenous people of Israel, we fully understand the eternal and unbreakable bond between the people and their land, and I warmly acknowledge, therefore, the traditional owners of the land on which we meet, the Boonwurrung people of the Kulin Nation, and pay my respects to their elders past and present. I would also like to acknowledge our guests here this evening, leaders from all sides of politics and all jurisdictions, senior religious leaders from other faiths, and of course our own rabbis, members of the diplomatic corps, multicultural leaders, and of course our friends who have joined us from the broader Australian community. We gather tonight to focus on the light of Judaism and its homeland, the light that even in these darker days since the atrocities of the Shoah remain our focus, our hope and our prayer. The light that unifies us with each other, with other Jewish communities globally, and with communities who have stood with us, rightly condemning the dangers of jihadist, genocidal hate. And of course, we stand united with our brothers and our sisters in Israel. This light commands us to declare without hesitation and in one voice, the people of Israel live. Am Yisrael Chai. While we look to the light, this past year has seen unimaginable darkness. Depravity, hate, and naked anti-Semitism fueled Hamas's murderous and genocidal attacks on innocent Israelis, on the state of Israel, on Jewish people and the Western world. Our hearts are broken today. We grieve for the 1,200 souls who perished 1 year ago. We cherish the sacrifice and mourn the losses of Israel's soldiers who have courageously fought against manifest evil. And we weep for Israeli citizens murdered by terrorists. And after the cold-blooded execution of 6 hostages last month, we continue to go sleepless night after sleepless night, worrying, hoping and praying that the 101 hostages, innocent Israelis, babies, children, parents, grandparents, who are still held captive in Gaza's terror tunnels, are returned home immediately, raising our voice to demand that we bring them home now. Israel continues to fight a war that it neither initiated nor sought, but it is fighting an existential war that it has no choice but to win. And with Iran's attacks on Israel last week, we are left in no doubt about the enemy, Iran and its proxies, Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis. These enemies of Israel, these enemies of Western liberal democracies, are a pernicious threat that can no longer be ignored. How can we, as global citizens, as Jews, as Australians, support anything other than their defeat? The darkness of these forces threaten us all. Their darkness has brought immeasurable suffering to the Palestinian people since October 7. And before that, as Hamas chose to invest resources in building terror networks rather than nurturing their own civil society. Sadly, we have seen darkness in Australia too. Darkness underpinned by virulent and dangerous anti-Semitism that is, in the view of our community, simply out of control. A threat to everything that makes our country unique and great. There is a permissiveness that has let anti-Semitism fester. A permissiveness encouraged by weak and ambiguous expositions of our foreign policy, that in our community's view have weakened our social cohesion, leaving us leaving us to feel that the state of Israel has been abandoned as a natural ally of the Australian people. We reject this permissiveness and its associated morally bankrupt equivalence that allows other communities to libel ours, that allows others to call for self-determination while rejecting the same right for Jews. We decry the disingenuous blue-washing of anti-Semitism as anti-Zionism and expect Australia's political, community and religious leaders to join us in this fight. Amongst all this is the recognition that darkness is not the opposite. Amongst all this is the recognition that darkness is not the opposite of light, but merely its absence. We have seen light across our country. We have seen leadership that has been heartwarming in its solidarity and reassuring with its morality. We have seen this in politics, in media, and in the community. We welcome the support of our new friends and old. Emboldened by your empathy, we are encouraged by your commitment to place principles over politics. One year ago, we were filled with light when our governments came together to express their solidarity with us and support for Israel in our parliaments. We welcome recent efforts to prosecute hate and ensure our public spaces are safe. We have seen this light in Israel, where hundreds of thousands have united across the political spectrum to lend grassroots support to the national effort. And we've seen this globally, where Jewish communities have come together in support of Israel, amplifying the messages that the hostages must be brought home. Saturday is, of course, Yom Kippur, and in one of the most moving prayers of the day, Unatana Tokef, those in Shul will read the following. You open the book of remembrance and it reads itself. Everyone's signature is in it. The great shofar has sounded and a still, soft voice is heard. We are that still, soft voice. We are the light that, even in the face of judgment and calamity, highlights the truth, strengthens our message and brightens even the most depraved darkness. The light that elevates our souls in hope, in solidarity and in community. We might not raise our voices in the streets, but we ensure that we are heard. We mourn, we grieve, we hope for peace. With our still and soft voices, we choose to stand in the light. I would ask that everyone stand for a minute's silence to be followed by the Australian National Anthem.